So now I'm going to show you guys an in-depth look to my kit. You're going to get the inside scoop. You're going to see all the products that are in my kit. Kind of nervous about that, but I'm going to do it because that's what this video is all about. It's all about my kit, and I think it's important to see as a pro artist what I use. I'm being perfectly honest, like half the stuff that's in my pro makeup kit, I don't use at home. There's certain things that are made for pros and certain things that are made for consumers. So this kit might not be what you're looking for. If you're just looking for makeup at home, you might not find anything in my kit that you really are going to use at home. So that's why I want to show you kind of what I'm using, what I found works best for me as a makeup artist over the past 5 years. I swear my kit has changed like crazy over the past 5 years. When I used to work at Kiko, when was that? 3-4 years ago, my kit was stocked with Kiko makeup because we got discounts on everything. And that was a really, at that time, it seemed like a really nice brand to me. So it was full of Kiko eyeshadows, Kiko foundations, Kiko everything, eyebrow products. I was obsessed. But then once I stopped working there and then the stores closed, I started to kind of phase that stuff out of my kit. And now it's kind of like beautiful, I think. Like there's a lot of pro products that maybe you haven't heard of, but there's also some really nice higher end products. It's not like the highest end, like I don't have Tom Ford, I don't have Chanel, I don't have any of those, but to me it's functional, it's nice, it's good to me. So I want to show you that. I want you guys to have an in-depth look onto what I'm using. I feel like no matter what products you have in your kit, it really depends on what kind of artist you are. So I could have, you know, the most expensive, the cheapest, the most, I don't know, I could have any makeup in my kit. It doesn't really matter what kind of makeup you have in your kit as long as your skill and artistry is on point and you feel like confident in that. If you are wanting to be a makeup artist or you're a makeup enthusiast or anything like that, don't feel like you have to go buy all of this stuff. Find what works for you. Like I've said, I've been curating my kit for about 5 years now, so this stuff just happens to work really well for me, and I repurchase a lot of it every season, sometimes even more, and yeah, it's just what works for me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm like so excited to share all this stuff with you. My makeup kit it's right in front of me, that's why I keep pointing over there. It's literally my baby. I'm obsessed with my own makeup kit. If you are going to be a bridal client of mine or a makeup client, now you have an idea of what I'm going to be using on you. I really trust all of these products with all of my heart. I make sure that I use them all so that I know how they work. I use them on myself before I put them in my kit. So yeah, without further ado, here is my makeup kit. Enjoy. Okay, so now we're inside of the main compartment of my makeup kit. This is where I pretty much have everything I could possibly need. If I did need to like do a condensed kit day, I can really just bring this and I would be fine. So I kind of just wanted to go through and give you guys an overview of how I organize things. I've had this kit again for about a year, maybe over a year actually. So I've really figured out what works best for me as far as efficiency goes. So starting on the left over here, this whole section is all skincare, foundation, concealers, powders, basically everything that you would need to create a base. So foundation, things like that. So right up here I have all of my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealers. I have 9 shades of these that range from the fairest skin tone to a darker skin tone. So I have other products in my kit as well. This is just my favorite, so that's why I have so many of that one concealer. I really love it. And again, like they have tons of colors, but as long as you get kind of a good range of not only colors but also undertones, you can actually mix products to make the right color for your client. So I rarely will just pick out one of these and put it on my client. Usually I mix 2. So just that's good to know. So the shades I have in here are Light 1 Chantilly. I actually put them in order of color. Then we have Light 2 Vanilla, Light 2.6 Cafe Con Leche, so this one has a little bit more of a yellow undertone. Light 2.8 Marron Glass. I don't know how to say these. They have some interesting names. Medium 1 Custard. It's a really good color to have. Medium 1.5 Macadamia. Medium 2 Ginger. I use this color a lot on my tanner clients, especially for the summer. Then we have Medium Dark 2 Caramel. And Medium Dark 3 Amande. Don't know. Again, having trouble pronouncing those. So that's a pretty good range. I could always add, there's a little bit of room. For this kit, if you are looking to buy it and you want to get these, they are tilted this way because standing up, the kit won't close. So just know that you do have to tilt or lay them down, but I like to be able to see the labels, so that's why I have them like that. Moving on to this little area, I have my RCMA No Color Powder. Can't live without it. That's like the only setting powder that I really have in my kit because it is translucent. Well, it's actually basically clear. It really has no color, so it works for everybody. Then we have a couple of Danessa Myricks products. So this is her Smooth FX Refining Gel. This is a nice smoothing primer. It has some gold flecks in there, really pretty. Then we have her beauty oil, and this is the one in Sunray. This needs a little bit of a mixing, but basically it's a shimmery beauty oil. Then we have the Twin Medics Pro Refine Moisturizer. This is a primer and moisturizer in one. I've been really liking this. And then in these two bottles we have, I actually need to get some more Fix Plus, but the labels have rubbed off. You could still read them a little bit, so I just haven't redone the labeling yet since I can still see them. And I can tell the difference because this is MAC Fix Plus. This is a clear kind of finishing fixing spray, and then this is the Skindinavia Bridal Setting Spray, and it has a little bit more of like white color, like a cloudy color, so I can still tell the difference without having to relabel them. And then right in the front here we have 4 of these little squeezy tubes. So these are, again, downsized. Little bottles are from cosmetics as well, and these products were just way too bulky for my kit, and I didn't need all of that bulk. I'd rather downsize so I could fit more in my kit. So we have 2 of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquids in Moonstone and Opal, Makeup Forever Smoothing Base, and the MAC Strobe Cream in Peach Light. So I have a couple of, these are all like liquid highlighters in different color ranges, and then I have a primer in here. So yeah, I just like to keep these, and again, I can refill them once they start to get low, but I've had them for a while and they haven't yet. So I kind of sectioned it. I kind of changed it as I started to play with the kit, just so you know, and you kind of have to make it work for yourself. But in this little section I have some skincare. So we have my Sonia Rosselli Beauty Water Balm. This is a gorgeous moisturizer. And then my Fresh Lotus Youth Preserve Eye Cream. This is great for under the eyes. And then underneath those, this is something that I keep in my kit as a little treat for my bride. So these are by the brand Lip Lux. They're actually made right in Connecticut. We have a whipped lip scrub and a lip balm in lemon and lavender. I actually treat my brides to a little lip treatment before we start their makeup, so I keep those in there for that. And if anybody does have like really dry lips, that's good to have in there. And then here we have foundations. This is like my favorite section. So all of the ones in the back here are all Face Atelier, and then these up here are all MAC Face and Body. Face Atelier is nice enough to actually have a pro package of their ultra foundations, so that's amazing. It's about, I think the pro package holds 20 milliliters and the regular like glass packaging is 30 milliliters, so it's not that much of a difference, and it's a little bit cheaper, so it just makes sense. It still has a ton of product in it, and it is plastic, so it's not going to break while your kit is like rolling around in your car. So I have a ton of colors of the Face Atelier foundation. It is my absolute favorite foundation. I'm obsessed. I have 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8.5, 10, and 11. And I feel like this is a really good range. Like obviously I'm missing a few colors from their line, but I can mix like 4 and 6 to get something that's similar to 5 probably. And I do a lot of mixing, so I haven't run into any situation where I didn't have the color for somebody, just using these colors that I have. So love that, and it's a really good range. And then up front I have just a few of the MAC Face and Bodies. I don't use these a ton. They're much more light coverage than the Face Atelier. I just feel like when somebody's getting their makeup done, most of the time they do want medium to full coverage, so that's why I have more shades of Face Atelier than MAC Face and Body. So we have, again, these have been downsized. So the MAC Face and Body bottles actually look similar to this, but they're just larger. Even their smaller size is bigger than this, and they wouldn't fit in my kit. So I decided to downsize. I got these on cosmetics as well. So I have C1, C3, N3, N5, N1, and N2. For somebody who has really great skin or someone who wants their freckles to show through, this is a great option. So this section here is more face stuff. So we have another primer, we have some more foundations, blushes, highlights. I'll kind of go through that. Then back here we have some lip palettes, a brow palette, more lip palettes. We have some eye products, lip products, so we'll go through this. right here I just have my Becca Backlight Priming Filter. This is my all-time favorite primer. I should downsize it. I just haven't found like the perfect, I could probably put it in one of these squeezy tubes. I just haven't done it because I go through it so fast that it just doesn't make sense to keep downsizing it every time. Then for palettes, this is my favorite highlight palette. This is the NARS Bord de Plage highlight palette. Comes with 6 shades. There's actually 4 highlights and 2 bronzers. It's a little messy. I've had this guy for a while. As you can see, I've made a dent in some of the highlight shades. This is absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, I think it was like a limited edition palette with NARS, so that kind of stinks. But I'm pretty sure like NARS highlights in general are all beautiful, so you can really go for anything. Then I have my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I could probably live without this, honestly, but it's just good to have in your kit so you have a range of contour and bronzer shades. I also will use some of these shades for baking sometimes, so I like to keep that in my kit. Then we have the RCMA and Kevin James Bennett Complexion palette. This is a foundation palette, and it has every color that you could possibly need. If you are a makeup artist, this is amazing. The consistency of these is really nice. It's like a nice like matte natural formula. You also have some primary shades, so you can take any of these colors and get your right undertone if these ones aren't really working for you. So I love to keep this just in case I have somebody that maybe these, no matter what concoction I try to make, is just not working. I like to keep this on me. And it's nice and compact and thin, so it's perfect for a makeup kit. Then we have this little guy. So this is my Danessa Myricks. It's like a little snap palette. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, I have all of the tubes in this bag that I just keep at the studio, and I just refill this little palette as needed. I don't put like the full thing in here because this can dry out. But these are all of her neutral shades, I believe. All of the N. Yeah, so N01 to N10 are all in here, and these are her Vision Cream covers. These are amazing full coverage foundations. Again, I just like to have I like to have my options. I also really love using N08 as a nice cream contour. That's amazing. Same thing with N09. So I just like to keep this in there. They're really, really, really full coverage. So keep that stowed away. Then we have another highlight palette. This is the MAC Hyper Real Glow. I don't know which one this is. They don't have names, but it just has 3 highlights in there that are very metallic and reflective. They're a little bit different from the NARS ones, so I like to have some options. And then right here, oh, this is my Fusette that I've started to depop my Senna cream blushes into. I hadn't gotten very far, but like again, the Senna cream blush palette is nice and compact. It's pretty thin, but it's pretty big as far as like this like width goes. So it was taking up a lot of room in my kit, so I started to depot them into this little Fusette palette. These are amazing. You'll see these a ton in my kit. Then over here we have my little baby, my Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder in medium. This is my favorite contour shade. It's so perfect for so many different skin tones. I keep it in my little velvet pouch, and it fits perfectly in that little section. Then we have a Becca highlight. This is in the shade Moonstone. Really pretty, nice light golden sheen. Love to keep that on hand. Apologies if the camera angle adjusted at all. Just had to take a quick break from filming, so might have changed a little bit, but let's just keep going. Oh, also it's another day, so yeah. By a quick break, I meant like 4 days. The next thing in my kit is this Kat Von D eyeshadow. This is a little bit different because you actually use it as a highlight. So Samantha Ravndal years ago, I think it was like years ago, was talking about this, and she uses it specifically as a highlight. It's very like, it's almost like a golden pinky champagne, such a pretty color. So I keep that in my kit as a highlight. I don't use it a ton, but it's nice to just have in there as something kind of unique and different. It blends out to a nice champagne, so keep that in there. Then we have my Danessa Myricks cream blush. This is her Vision Flush in the shade Ballet Slippers. This is stunning as well. This is like one of my most used cream blushes. I feel like it's really good for every skin tone. It blends out beautifully. I am obsessed with this. I will definitely keep restocking this in my kit. It's like a staple for me at this point. Then we just have some blotting papers. I like to keep these in here to put in my touch-up kits and just to use if somebody's looking a little extra shiny towards the end of like the getting ready. And then that's pretty much all I have for face products in my kit. So that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections are all face products. Then we move into kind of eyes, lips, brows, things like that over here. So I'm going to start back in this section. First we have a couple of Viseart palettes. This is called the Structure Brow and Eyeshadow Palette. So what you have in here are 9 powder brow colors, and then 3 kind of like pomades. I don't use these a ton. I only do if somebody has like super sparse brows and they need something really filled in and something to be a little bit more pigmented, but most of the time I'm really just using the powders. As you can see, I've made a dent in these, so I'm obsessed. Most of the time I mix a few colors to get that perfect shade for somebody, but this is really nice for a makeup kit because you are working on so many different people with so many different hair colors and brow colors that you're going to need everything. And we have 2 Viewzette palettes right here. These are all lips. So this one is my nudes palette. Now these do get a little bit messy, as you can see, but they're still very functional, and there's really no point in cleaning it because it is just going to get messy again because some product just gets up here. But pretty much, these are just all of my favorite nudes, my pinks, my peaches, corals, kind of like everything like that. I labeled it as a nude because most of them are nudes in here. I have a lot of MAC lipsticks, some ColourPop, some Makeup Forever. I labeled them back here. Some of them are fading already because I do use them so much, but most of them are labeled. Some of them I haven't had a chance to label yet, but pretty much this is my go-to lip palette. I love this thing. I use it on almost every single client. I use up a lot of the lipsticks, like MAC Faux and MAC Velvet Teddy, which are this is Faux and this is Velvet Teddy, are like my most used lipsticks. So I'm constantly refilling those, and these are really nice. This holds 24 lipsticks, so imagine me trying to put 24 actual lipsticks into my kit. That would be impossible. So I absolutely love these Viewzette palettes for that purpose. The second one I have is my darks. This one's not as full yet, but it'll fill up eventually. We have some like really fun editorial colors, reds, and then burgundies and browns. So yeah, this palette gets a little bit of use, probably not as much as the nudes, but I like to have all my options. Then we have another Viseart palette. Now, I've considered taking this out of my kit a few times. I don't use it a ton, but it is nice if somebody wants more of like a sheer lip. They're not as pigmented as like my MAC lipsticks. By the way, this is the 02 Classic Paris Velvet Lip Palette. So yeah, these are not as pigmented as like my normal MAC lipsticks, but they are nice to have if maybe I just don't have that color in my kit, or if somebody wants something a little bit sheerer. This is a nice thing to have in your kit if you are a makeup artist. And then in the back here, this is very random, but this is my Danessa Myricks Waterproof Cream Palette, and this is the primary palette. Now this is really interesting. Obviously, you're looking at this probably and you're like, what the heck does she use that for? Why is that in her kit? Well, as a makeup artist, you do have to kind of know color theory. So you have all your primary colors here with the blue, yellow, and red, and then you have black, white, and gray. So what's really cool about this, and why I like to keep it in my kit, I don't use it a ton, but you can actually do a full face of makeup using just this if you really wanted to. You can make a foundation out of this, you can make lip colors, you can make eye colors. This is a waterproof cream palette that can do literally everything. As long as you know your color theory and know how to mix colors to match your client's foundation, to make a blush, whatever it may be, you can do it with this palette. So I just like to keep it just in case I need something. I mean, I have a ton of stuff in my kit, but I don't have everything in the world. This can make literally anything, so I just like to keep it just in case. And that just hides back there. Now we're moving on to this little section over here. Back here we have all of our like cream eyeshadows, I guess would be the category. Way back I have this Cosette Makeup Mixology. This is basically like a mixing medium if you wanted to turn a powder shadow into a cream or liquid. That would do that for you, and it makes it waterproof, so it's really awesome. Then we have a couple Danessa Myricks products. We have 2 of her 24-hour cream color fixes. This one is in Ballerina, and then we have Gold Mine. These are really nice like classic colors just to have for bridal. I love using this all over the lid for brides and then kind of like muting it out with a shadow, but you just get that nice pinky undertone, really pretty. And then we have 2 of her glazes. So this one is her clear glaze, and then we have Kaleidoscope. So this one just has a little bit more of like duotoned glitter in there. I just like to keep these in case I'm doing an editorial shoot and somebody wants a glazed eye. Those are really fun to have in the kit. And then these are my babies. So these are all of my Stila Shimmer and Glow liquid eyeshadows. So I have 4 of the Shimmer and Glows, and then I have 2 of the Glitter and Glow. The Glitter and Glow are not my favorites because they're not pigmented. They're really just glitter, so I don't get as much use use out of these as I do out of the Shimmer and Glows. These are freaking amazing. So I have the shades Kitten, Starlight, Jezebel, and Grace. And they all look like this. So my favorite thing to do with these is actually use them basically as like an eyeshadow base, like a primer. I put them all over the lid, blend it out. It gives the most beautiful sheen to the lid, like you have no idea. And depending on what look they want to do, if they're doing more of a golden eye, I'll use Starlight, which has like a champagne base. Kitten is a little bit more of a pink. Jezebel is like a darker rose gold. So I have a little bit of everything for everyone, and it just, it's so much. Honestly, I find it to be way prettier than doing like a matte primer and then putting shadows on top of that. It just gives like a nice glow, almost as if you're using like a glowy primer under your foundation. That kind of does the same thing for your eyes, so love that. And then back here we have a Too Faced glitter glue. I really never use this. I don't have any loose glitters in my kit, but again, it's just one of those things that you kind of want to keep on you just in case somebody brings glitter to a shoot and they need it glued on, so I just like to have it. So I just grabbed a palette that usually goes in there. I just had it out on the table for some reason. But in this section we have kind of like a mix of eyeshadows, primers, liners, a little bit of everything, but mostly eye stuff. So the 4 palettes that I have in here, I love this palette right here. This is the Tarte Man Eater. This is just a classic palette, perfect for bridal. Like, these colors are just great. Like, you don't need anything else. You have your brown transitions, you have your black, you have a white for highlight, you have some lid shades. This is just a great all-in-one palette. Then I have this little Z palette that I just kind of customized, threw in some single shadows that I had. But again, it's just a good bridal palette, and these shades are really pretty, so I like to keep that on hand. And then over here we have 2 Viseart palettes. This one, obviously I broke one by accident, but this is the 01 Neutral Matte, and then we have the 04 Dark Matte. Now the Dark Matte is really cool. It's a little bit more editorial, obviously. We have some brighter colors, but some of them do come into use with bridal. Some of my brides want a little bit of purple in their look. Some prom girls want some blues, so I keep that on hand. And I do some editorial shoots every now and then, so I like to use that. And then this is a really good, like, basic matte palette. You have a good range of warm tones, neutral tones, cool tones, and you have light to dark. So this kind of gives you everything. It's just a good classic palette to have and keep on hand. Then next to those palettes, we have a couple of single shadows. Now these are, funny story about these, they're actually super similar, but I can't get myself to get rid of either of them. I don't know why. I have always loved the Stila shadow in the shade Kitten. It's just a perfect champagne shade. But then I discovered the Marc Jacobs shadow in the shade Primo, their Omega shadow. And I don't know, I just can't decide if they're, you know, exactly the same. If I need both of them, I just keep both of them just in case. I don't know. I just keep both of them. I use the Marc Jacobs one more often, I think, just because it's a little bit bigger. I just like taking out like the Marc Jacobs product. I think it looks a little bit fancier, so I keep both in there even though they're very, very, very similar. And then this here, I don't love how it looks, this little section. I'll move the camera over so you can see a little bit better. It's not the most organized, this little section here. And that really bothers me because obviously I'm super into organization. So I'm going to be getting one of these Viseart palettes, like this one, with the 12 pans. And I'm going to see if I can put my paint pots and my gel liners in that to make it a little bit more condensed and not so messy. But for the video, we're just going to dive into it. So I have 2 of the MAC paint pots. I have one in Soft Ochre and one in Painterly. These are great bases, especially if somebody has kind of like pigmented lids or has like veiny lids. They totally cancel out any color on the lid, so I really like to use those. And if somebody wants a more dramatic look and not more of like a glowy look with the shimmer and glows, then I'll go in with the paint pot instead, just because it is a nice pigmented base. Then we have a couple of Stilazzi gel liners. Actually, we have a few. We have 3. So these I actually recently picked up at the makeup show. I haven't really gotten too much use out of them yet, but I put them in my kit so that, you know, I do use them. I have 3 shades. I have Jet, Tiger's Eye, and Smoky Quartz. If you want to see what those look like, you can go in and watch my makeup show haul, and you'll be able to see what those colors look like. But they're basically black, brown, and like a goldy copper kind of color. Then we have a, what brand is this? This is a L'Oreal Infallible Gel Liner in black. This is like my go-to most of the time if I'm doing a winged liner. I love that. It doesn't transfer, it's beautiful. Then we have a Kevyn Aucoin Diamond Eyeglass in the shade Moonlight. This is another kind of like glazy, gloss that you can put on the eyes, the lips, really wherever you want a little bit of a shine. I like to keep that again for a little bit more of an editorial look. Then we have an Inglot gel liner. This is the number 90 and it's a dark brown. So this is great for my girls who don't really want like an intense black liner. We go in with a brown and you get something a little bit more subtle. We have another primer down here. This is actually almost empty. I don't know if I'm going to repurchase this actually. I feel like I have enough going on primer wise. I just got this because it was raved about, so I thought why not. But this is the Smashbox 24-hour photo finish eyeshadow primer, and yeah, I don't know, not too crazy about it, so I don't think I'll be repurchasing. And then I just have two loose pigments. This one's pretty old, but it's nice and people seem to like it. This is a Kiko loose pigment in the shade number 10. Don't know if that's available anymore. You'd have to check online with Kiko. And then I have a MAC pigment in the shade tan, and this is a beautiful rose gold. Like, I'm obsessed with this. I wish more people requested looks like this because this is so pretty. But I do get some use out of it, just not as much as I would like, you know? So yeah, the organization here, unfortunately, isn't the best as far as, you know, my organization and efficiency goes. They're all just kind of thrown in there, but that's the best I can do for now. So that is pretty much all of the eye stuff that's actually in this part of the kit. I have a few more palettes and things that I keep in another section, which I'll show you. But then back in this section here, we have some lip glosses. I just like to keep, you know, a good range of colors of lip glosses, and I do mostly MAC. I have some Lorac products, so I'll just go through these quick. First, we have a MAC lip gloss. It's just the clear one. I just like to keep this on hand anytime you need a clear gloss. That comes in handy a ton. And then, as far as MAC lip glosses go, I have 3 at the moment. These ones are just like a good, you know, they're good neutrals. We have a little bit of color here. We have one in the shade Lust, one in the shade Nymphette, and then this one has lost its label, so yeah, that kind of stinks, but you know, it's pretty. I don't know the exact color on that, but I do use it a lot. And then we have 6 Lorac glosses. These came in some a limited edition lip gloss kit or something, the Alter Ego. So I just keep all of these in my kit because, you know, it's just a good range of colors. You have some neutrals, something a little bit more purple, something a little bit more coral, and then some darker and more brighter shades. So these are in the shades from the pink on. We have Diva, Icon, Dominatrix, Goddess, Bae, and It Girl. So all those stay right back here in this little section. And that's really all I need for glosses. That covers pretty much everything and everyone. And then in this section, this is actually where I keep my Temp2 airbrush AirPod Pro. So that just lays right here. And then I have 2 AirPods that lay right on top of it. And yeah, I love the Temp2 airbrush system. This one in particular, the Air Pro, because it is compact. So it fits in this little tiny section. Then I just have the Temp2 SB cleaner and the charger. And that's really all I need. So that is the layout. That is what we have going on in the kit. This thing holds a ton of makeup. It's insane. I absolutely love it. Now up top, I'm just going to pan you up here. This is where I store all of my eyeshadow brushes. So I have actually organized these so that it is a lot more efficient. This is why I love this kit, is that you can completely organize everything so there's no questions. It's just very easy to know where everything is, and just, you don't even have to find something, look for something, you just grab it because you know where it is already. So all of my fluffy blending brushes are in this first little compartment. Then I have my smaller blending brushes, my pencil brushes. I have 2 sections for lid brushes. I have a few different ones, like I have some fluffier ones here, and then some denser, smaller ones in this section. This one back here is just kind of like the random section. Yeah, it's just a bunch of random brushes that you never know if you're going to possibly need. Down here I have eyeliner brushes, and then we have eyebrow brushes. These are all my angled brushes here. Right now, it's looking a little empty. I have to clean some brushes, but at least you can kind of see what we're working with. Then we have a few more products. So I have all of my lip liners in this little pouch, all of my eyeliners here, mascara, and clear brow gel. Now for lip liners, I pretty much have mostly MAC. I have MAC Whirl, Soar, Burgundy, and Cherry. And then I have one Morphe lip liner in the shade Backseat Love. So that's a good range. I haven't found myself needing really anything else other than those. Then for eyeliners, I have all of my Marc Jacobs eyeliners, which are my babies. I'm absolutely obsessed with these. So we have the shades. What do we got here? Overnight, which is like a cobalt kind of blue. This one is Overt, which is kind of like a shimmery green. Then we have Black Core, which is the black. And then Earthquake, which is a nice espresso brown. So these, you know, I have everything I could possibly need. They have a ton of colors, and I actually kind of want to get some more just to have, you know, you never know what you're going to need. And then I have 2 white pencils. I have a ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Exit, and the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. And then for mascara, I've been using the Great Lash. I have a waterproof and a regular. This is just a classic mascara. I do use the disposable mascara wands, so the actual mascara wand doesn't really matter because I'm going to be using disposable ones, so I just pick up whatever, you know, is kind of the cheapest at the time, to be honest. And then I have my Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. This is freaking amazing. I love this stuff. I also like to keep 2 of these little alligator clips on hand always, just so I can clip my client's hair back when I'm working on their makeup. And then in this little pouch here, this is where I usually keep kind of some miscellaneous stuff. I don't think anything's back there now, but usually I'll have like some eye gels, my Skin Iceland eye gels I'll keep back there for my brides. Face masks if I'm carrying any of those. It is a pretty, like, it's not a very large area, so I just keep like thin things back there. So that is the main compartment of this kit. Now these are all removable and adjustable, so I can move this over one, I can take it out completely and have one big compartment, but I personally really like how it is organized right now. It works for me. I like having the smaller sections. So then this little flap comes down. The kit does come with a big mirror that you can put here, but it was just too like stiff, so I couldn't really close the kit, so I took that out. But pretty much you close that, this section zips closed, and then you have this top section. So this is, I don't really make use of this while I'm actually working. I store things in here that I then take out and put on the table, which I'll show you in a minute. But pretty much what you have in here are 3 large pockets, and then you have about 1.5 inches of space in this little compartment, and you have this mesh pocket here. So what I do is I actually will take all of my larger eyeshadow palettes that really don't fit in the bottom, and I will lay them flat in this mesh compartment. This just keeps them totally safe. They don't really move around. I have 4 palettes that I just kind of shove in there, and I'll go through these palettes in a second. I just want to show you the actual kit and how I set it up. This is what this section would look like with my palettes. Then I have a few things that go on top here and a few things that go in there. So for these palettes, might as well show you what we're working with. So this is a Z palette. This has all of my blushes. I actually kind of like customized this blush palette. So I have 2 Tarte blushes, and unfortunately they don't have the names on the bottom because I did depot those from their original packaging. So sorry about that. I have some MAC blushes. This is MAC Blush Baby right here. Then we have, this is a Makeup Geek blush in Heartthrob. That one's really popular. This one is in Prism, I believe, and this I think is Melba. And then this is just a random blush. I don't even know where I got it. It's from Pandora's Face in Pink Carnation. Kind of random. And then this is a little mini Kevyn Aucoin shimmering like face powder, and thinking Candlelight. So yeah, I just have a good range of blushes. This really covers everything I need because you have your corals and peaches and neutral tones up top. Then you have some mauvier, pinkier tones on the bottom here. So we got everything covered in this blush palette, and I love that I can see what's inside with the Z palette. Next up, we have my new baby. This is such a beautiful palette. I'm obsessed with this. This is the Natasha Denona Neutral Biba palette. Looks like this. I'm sorry if the lighting is off. I can face you towards the light. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's much better. So this is what the Biba palette looks like. So you get literally every color you could possibly need in this palette. I'm so obsessed with this. It's one of my newer purchases. You have all of your warm browns, you have a bronze, some golden shades, you have some cool tones. I've been absolutely obsessed with this palette since I got it, so highly recommend. I will be keeping this in my kit forever, and if I ever hit pan, I will definitely be repurchasing because it is definitely a staple in my kit right now. Then another one of the larger palettes that I carry in my kit is the Viseart Grande Pro Volume 1. and it looks like this. So this is just a full matte palette. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's 5 times 6? 30. You have a ton of eyeshadows in this palette that range in tone and color. You have, this is, if you are a makeup artist, you 100,000% need this palette. You won't regret it. You have all of your light shades. You have some pinks, you have some purples. If somebody came and sat in your makeup chair and asked you for something, you'd be able to create it with this palette alone. So highly recommended. Obviously you need some shimmers, but that will be your matte palette. The only matte palette that you will need. Okay, I'm pausing the video really quick because I made a few changes to my kit between the time that I filmed this video and now. So I just wanted to hop in and show you guys what I did. So basically, I wanted to narrow down this section and really condense everything. I had a bunch of small little Z palettes and that ColourPop palette that everything was just too unorganized and in too many different places, so I wanted to condense it. So I ordered this large Cosette palette. Cosette is where I got these shadows from, and he makes these palettes. So I ordered the largest one, and this fits all 13 of my Cosette shadows, all 6 of the Viseart shadows that I had depotted, and my single shadows. So those are all in here now. That made this section a lot smaller because I had a Z palette in here. I had maybe 2 Z palettes in here actually. I think I had the small Cosette palette and a Z palette, so it was just too much. I've also purchased another Musette palette. This is another 12 pan, and I'm going to be depotting all of my cream and gel eyeliners, paint pots, and things into this to condense even further. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. I did get rid of some eyeshadows that were in my kit. I did swatch comparisons, and anything that looked exactly the same, I only kept one of. So that was good. But this is like a beautiful little palette. I'm obsessed with it. So I wanted to show you that. But yeah, so I have 13 Cosette shadows, and then these Viseart shadows are actually from one of her mini, like, Theory Minx palettes or something like that. I just depotted them into this palette. I get a lot of use out of those, and then the Cosette shadows are some of my absolute favorite shadows in my kit. So let me know down below if you want me to go through each individual color, but as of right now, you can kind of get the gist. We got some warm browns, golds, silvers, things like that. I absolutely love this palette. And then this little guy right here is actually just a white pearly shimmer shade that came, it's a Kevin Aquan color, but I don't really know what it's called. It came in one of their like shading sculpting books, and I use that for my inner corner on literally every client that I have sitting in my chair. So I definitely should probably do some research and find out exactly what shade that is because I'm obsessed. So those are all the palettes that I keep in this top section. Then what I do is I lay this towel on top of the mesh pocket, and this is what I'll travel, whenever I'm doing like a traveling job, I will lay this towel out on the table so that I don't get it dirty. I'll keep some cotton pads here. I have my Rebels and Outlaws hand sanitizer that I'll stick in this pocket. I also have a couple of the Melanie Mills Gleam Body Radiances in here for my brides, as well as the Danessa Myricks Illuminating Veil. So I just keep kind of like the bigger tubes of things back here. Then I have some beauty blenders in this pocket, and then I'll usually keep like a pack of eyelashes or something like that. And last but not least, up here I'll keep my Disposables case, which I'll show you in a moment, as well as a mirror. Then I just zip this up and it is literally ready to go. Everything is in here. Pretty much the only thing that I can't really carry in here are my face brushes and my airbrush colors, like my airbrush foundations. I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment, but just so you know, those things do not get carried in here. Alright, so that is all of the organization of the actual kit, and of course I'll leave the link for the kit down below so you can go and shop. I absolutely love this thing. Keeps everything just, I love that I can literally just put this on the table, open it, and I'm set up. Obviously I have to take some things out and lay them out on the table, but it is so easy to set this thing up. I have done plenty of jobs where we have all started setting up at the same time, and I'm the first one done, and everybody's basically just asking me where I got this amazing kit, because I think I've probably gotten about 15 people to buy it because it is just literally so amazing. But then what I do, as you can see on the left over here, and actually spread out a little bit. These things are a little bit bulkier. They can't really be kept inside of this kit. I like to spread out and have my eyeshadow palettes open so I can just dip. I don't have to worry about it. Sometimes I'll even grab, like for example, like I said before, I'll grab the Tarte Maneater palette, maybe put that out since it is, you know, a really good basic. Sometimes I'll take out some primers and put them to the side if I know I'm going to be using them a ton. As far as setup goes here, so right now we're at my studio, so I kind of have my setup down pat here. I have the perfect table for it. I don't have to worry about space, so I like to spread it out. When I am on a job, sometimes things change, but I try to keep it as much like this as I can because I know where to reach, I know where everything is. And that usually works out. Sometimes I can't take out as many palettes, but I make it work. So starting here on the table, I have all of my airbrush things. Now I don't always need to take this out. If my bride isn't using airbrush and she's only doing traditional, I'll put these away. But right here I have my Temp2 AirPod Pro system. Like I said earlier, I'll just take that out and put it here. Make sure everything is clean with my 2 other AirPod Pros. Now with these, I always have 3. I never have less than 3 because I have a certain way of doing things. So one of them is specifically for bronzer and blush. Well, I always do bronzer first and then blush, and I use it through the same AirPod Pro system because I like for them to kind of blend together. Then we have a foundation pod, so I make sure that I'm not mixing things. And then finally we have my highlight pod. That just makes working so much more efficient because you don't have to worry about cleaning your pods while you're with one client. Yes, I clean them in between clients, but at least when I'm with one client, I don't have to worry about like constantly cleaning the pods. So I like to keep 3. And then I have 2 little Zuka pouches. These are like the mini ones. And in this first one here, I have all of my blushes, bronzers, and highlights. My favorite Temp2 product is the Hydrolock. I have Hydrolock blushes, bronzers, foundations, highlights, everything. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So these are the bigger bottles here, and then I have some of the smaller bottles as well. I just keep the bigger bottles of like my most popular colors. So I have the bronzer and contour in the larger bottle. This is a must. I have nude pink in the larger bottle, soft peach. These are just really popular colors that I just like to keep on hand. And then for highlight, I use the Perfect Canvas champagne shades. So those I have in all the big bottles. Love those. And then in this one, I have my foundations. Again, I love the Hydrolock formula. I have some bigger bottles, some smaller bottles, but I have a really good range that covers every skin tone. So I love keeping these in here because they're just very clean, easy to look at. There's really no other way to store these. I've tried a ton. This just seems to be the best way for me. I can kind of see everything, just reach in. Usually my most used products are right on top, so love these guys. And then up on the back here, I either rest this up on the mirror, or if I'm at a job, I'll just rest it on the table. These are all of my face brushes. This is a Sedona lace brush belt that I've had for years, like forever, and it is held up, so I'm keeping it. And obviously I have a ton of brushes, like it's a problem. This seems to be holding. I might have to expand at some point, but this is working for now. So I try to keep this as organized as I can. It's kind of hard, but I try. So over here I'll have all my highlight brushes. In the back I have blush. Here I have like bronzer and contour. Then we'll have some foundation brushes in the back, concealer brushes, setting powder. It kind of gets a little messy, but for the most part they're easy to find. It's sitting up nice. So I love that. You already saw all these palettes, so you can skip over that, but this is basically how I lay them out. I'll move you guys over so you can see a little bit better. I like to condense as much space as I possibly can. This palette and the ColourPop palette, I can't like flip over, so I just lay them on top of each other and then I leave them there while I'm working. I don't like hold them in my hands or anything. I have my Viseart palette folded up back there, my blush palette, and then sometimes I'll, like I said, take out another palette. The end of my setup is always my disposable kit. This kind of has like my tools. So this little case I actually got at Walmart, and it's perfect. It's worked for me for years. I just sanitize it. Maybe like once a month I'll go in and actually deep clean it with alcohol just to make sure it's nice and sanitary. But this is pretty much like my tools, my disposables, my puffs. So I'll kind of just go through it quickly. It's nothing crazy. I have all my disposable mascara wands here, disposable lipstick wands I get off of Amazon. I have some Q-tips. I have these puffs that are from Alcone. I mentioned these in my makeup show haul. And I'll go in and sanitize these with alcohol as well. This is what a clean one looks like, just so you know. I love these for just putting on my pinky so I can rest it on my client's face without messing up their makeup. Then we have my lash stuff. So I have my Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with aloe, formaldehyde free. Love this stuff. I have this little lash applicator that I got on Amazon. I love this for strip lashes. And then I have my tweezers from Earth. I don't even know where I got these, but I've had them for years. And this is what I use to apply individual lashes. So those all, their home is right there. Then in this bigger section, I have hand sanitizer, 70% alcohol, a lash curler, my Anastasia sharpener, and then I have my Sonia Rosselli lashes. So these I depot. They come in a larger case. I'll show you. So these lashes all come in a case like this, which obviously is not very kit friendly. It's a little too big for me. So I got these little plastic pots. Oh, I got them, I think, from Walgreens. I think that's what the Equate brand is, or maybe CVS. And they're basically just screw top canisters. I don't even know, jars. And yeah, I mean, they really work for me. They're not the prettiest looking things in the world, but they save space. They hold the lashes. They do their job, so I don't have an issue. I have two lengths. I have the shorts and the mediums, and I just write with a Sharpie on top, which length is which. And super easy. I'll usually just open the top of these. I'll grab a bunch of lashes and put it in the top here, leave this on the kit, and then I just pull from this top. So, very easy, very convenient. And then in this section here, I'll just keep my makeup wipes. I'll keep makeup wipes, maybe like the mirror, if I have any other, like a micellar water, things like that. Usually I have the Bioderma micellar water. I'm just waiting for that package to come in, so I don't have that right now. That is the overview of my makeup kit. I have a ton of makeup, but I really feel like I have a good range of makeup. I've never gone to a job and not had what I needed, so that just makes me feel really good about what I'm carrying. And I really feel good about my current kit. I think it's the most efficient, it's the most convenient, it's the easiest to carry around. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I really, really love it. So that is pretty much it for my makeup kit. I think I covered everything. The only thing I know I didn't cover was like the brands of brushes that I carry. I do a lot of Morphe. They're pretty affordable and pretty nice. I don't have any issues with them. I don't really carry any Morphe makeup products other than like that lip liner that I had, just because the ingredients I've heard are not that great. So I don't really carry the Morphe makeup products, but I do like their brushes. And then I also really like Delium brushes. I featured those in my makeup show haul. I have some Smith brushes, I think, and some Refer brushes, and then honestly some brushes I just get at like the art store for eyeliner, things like that, and more like editorial brushes. I have a few MAC brushes, Sonia Rosselli, kind of some Real Technique brushes, a real mix of things. I kind of just find what works for me. I have random brushes that I just get in like my BoxyCharms. Just a random mix of brushes that just work really well for me. I like to have pretty much at least 10 of each brush, I would say. The most makeup clients that I'll take in like one sitting, like for a wedding, is probably like 9. So yeah, I like to have at least 9 of each brush because I'm not double using. I'm only using the brush one time for a wedding, and then I'm throwing it in a bag, bringing it home, and deep cleaning it. So you have to have multiples. Alright guys, I think that is it for this video. This is probably the longest video in the history of time. I'm really passionate about my makeup kit. Again, like I've said, it's been curated over years, so it's really important to me, and I really am proud of it at this point. Obviously it's gonna keep getting better and better. Maybe things will change, but for the most part it has been pretty much like this for the past year, maybe over a year. So you gotta know that it's working for me right now. If I missed anything, because this video was kind of all over the place and it was filmed at different points, so I honestly might have missed something. There's so much that goes into a makeup kit, so if you have any questions at all, please leave them down below. If you want me to film a follow-up video answering your questions about makeup artistry and my makeup kit, let me know. Comment down below if you want me to do that. I will probably, you can leave your questions down below, but I'll probably also post something on Instagram, like one of those question things that you can leave questions about my makeup kit, being a makeup artist, things like that. So make sure you go follow me on Instagram if you want that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this little peek into my career and into my makeup kit. This was really fun to film. It was a lot, but it was really fun, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it and appreciate it. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, and click the little bell if you want to be notified when I post, and comment down below if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!